Washington State University. But what is it anyway? What are we talking about when we say WSU or Washington State or all the other titles referring to the Evergreen State's land-grant university? Well, there are the things that everybody knows about. WSU is a place where young people go to school, your son or daughter, or the neighborhood's youngster from down the block. Students from every corner of Washington, and for that matter, of the entire world. Then if you get around in eastern Washington, you probably know the expanding Washington State University campus in Pullman, with its dormitories, its classroom buildings and laboratories overlooking the Palouse Hills. And its throngs of young people always in a hurry to get somewhere. To many people, Washington State University means the football season, the color and excitement of a stadium crowd and everything that goes with it. Practically everybody in the country knows about the WSU Cougars. There are not many things that can equal a touchdown play for sheer drama. Even Butch, the Cougar mascot, gets excited. But athletics and student life and buildings are only a small part of the story. For the next 20 minutes or so, we want to report to you on the broad concepts and purposes which make Washington State University one of Washington's largest and, we believe, most important state institutions. And we want to look at the complex work of the state university, work which affects nearly every phase of human activity in the Pacific Northwest. This work falls into three main classifications. Education, to train the scientists, the builders, the leaders of tomorrow. Research, both to open new frontiers and to solve immediate problems for the state. And extension, to make the activities of WSU available wherever they are needed. Education, research, extension. This threefold function is spelled out in WSU's charter as a land-grant institution, as a part of the nationwide land-grant system. The school, which in the 1890s began to rise on a barren Palouse hillside, was founded under the famous Morrill Act, the cornerstone of the land-grant movement. And from the beginning, it was to have every attribute of a modern university. Washington's first state legislature laid down plans for a broad institution, complete with professional divisions in engineering, mining, agriculture, and home economics, with scientific laboratories, a faculty of scholars and scientists, and of great importance, a strong program in the liberal arts and sciences. Today's broad educational program at Washington State is simply growth within the pattern set in the beginning by the land-grant tradition and by the sweeping charter provided by the first state legislature. That pattern includes making higher education available to the widest segment of the population. Higher education for everyone capable of benefiting from it. The pattern includes an educational tradition of combining the theoretical with the practical. The great fundamental truth, the principles and laws and theorems which are the basics of knowledge, are explored in the classroom. But this essential classroom work is followed by practical laboratory experience, putting the theory to immediate practical use. The subject may be as esoteric as nuclear physics and higher electronics, or as down-to-earth as the design and repair of farm machinery. In every division of Washington State University, the classroom and the laboratory go hand in hand. And that means in literally hundreds of subjects for students in WSU's 11 schools and colleges, its scores of departments and specialized programs, study almost every conceivable subject, from veterinary medicine to textile research. From plant pathology and mycology to police administration and scientific crime detection. From the practice of pharmacy to anthropology and archaeology. In short, WSU teaches practically everything but law and human medicine, and teaches preparatory courses for these fields. 20th century civilization is based on the skills of individuals who have developed complex knowledge and the ability to use it. But it is based even more on men and women who view the world as a whole, who can see beyond their own careers and their own specialties. Washington State University is concerned above all with developing citizens who have this depth of vision and breadth of interest. In WSU's College of Sciences and Arts, students from every area of the university find courses and special activities designed to stimulate alertness to world and national affairs. To examine the record of the past in the light of today's events, and to awaken interest in the arts. In the liberal arts, too, WSU believes in a combination of theory and practice, that practical experience must accompany the textbook and lecture, no matter how stimulating the lecturer may be. Languages are learned by listening and speaking, as well as by parsing sentences and memorizing the irregular forms of verbs. Political science becomes a living thing to an elected delegate at a mock political convention. The understanding of music enters a new dimension when you've taken part in a university opera production. The lines of a contemporary drama take on new meaning to the student who's actually performed them before an audience. And new ideas crystallize and take form when you are asked to prepare them for presentation on the State University's television station. Everybody gets in on activities which make education meaningful and alive, because WSU is a resident university. Nearly everybody lives on the campus. And each September, there's tremendous moving-in activity at the fraternities and sororities on Greek Row, at the State University apartments for married students, and at the handsome dormitories scattered across the campus. For Cougar students, the State University is more than a place where you go several hours a day for classes. WSU is home during the 4 years they attend school. And it's a home which provides a continual round of varied experiences, the stimulation of creative activities, of meeting other students from all over the world, a home which above all provides a constant flow of new ideas on 1,001 subjects. There are countless things to see and do and talk about. Plus the discipline of study and the thrill of learning, which in an atmosphere like this can be a deeply moving experience. Constant decisions to be made, too, affecting the entire university community. Students at WSU largely govern their own affairs through their elected representatives. And just as in any other community, a new proposal comes in for plenty of argument and counter-argument and the weighing of pros and cons. And there's always the excitement of a new job to do, sometimes for pay. For many WSU students earn part of their way, often for the satisfaction of acquiring new skills and new insight into the profession for which they are preparing. But college life is not all work. The WSU campus provides an abundance of recreational facilities. Only the most skilled, of course, make the Cougar varsity squads. But everybody can get in on the cheering section, and everybody participates in some sports activity. Instructors help even the most complete novice develop enough proficiency to enjoy the sport and to get plenty of exercise. The center of campus recreational activity is the Compton Union Building, the Cub, financed and operated by WSU Student Association. The Cub is a place to meet between classes or to relax after the day's studying. It's also headquarters for WSU student government bodies and numerous clubs and organizations. But mostly, it's a place for relaxation. Quieter moments on the campus, too. But these are merely pleasant interludes. Then it's back to the serious business of classes, books, and laboratories. How do you evaluate an educational program? How do you tell whether or not an educational institution is measuring up to the job it has been given to do? Well, you look at the faculty, at the men and women who are devoting their lives to teaching and research. You look at their accomplishments and honors and national reputations. You look at the extent to which their work attracts tangible recognition from business, industry, federal agencies, and the great foundations. Recognition in the form of scholarships and research grants. And at such signposts as the fact that for over 3 decades, Washington State University has been the only separate land-grant institution chartered by Phi Beta Kappa, or the fact that this faculty has inspired a record number of students to win the coveted Rhodes Scholarship. WSU ranks second among all the nation's separate land-grant institutions in producing Rhodes Scholars. And there are other criteria. For example, the demand for graduates by business and government and other educational institutions. The demand for graduates of Washington State University increases steadily each year. And most of all, you look at the university's major product, at the students themselves. At the 15% of WSU students who are studying the traditional land-grant subjects, engineering, agriculture, and home economics. At the 85 out of every 100, a higher percentage than at nearly any other land-grant school, who major in the liberal arts and sciences, or in preparation for a wide variety of professions. You look at the men and women doing advanced study in WSU's expanding graduate school. And it is these young people, undergraduates and graduates alike, who can give you the answer. That Washington State University is an institution in which Washington or any state can take deep pride. But education, important as it is only part of the story. Washington State University is a research institution. Research into the fundamental secrets of the universe. Research into the practical workaday problems of Washington industry and agriculture. From the time of its founding, Washington State University has been a world-leading center of agricultural research. WSU's agricultural experiment stations, located in every corner of the state, have supplied a constant stream of new information on crops, soils, and farming methods to keep Washington farmers in a position of national leadership. Scientists on the WSU staff probe into every phase of agriculture, always searching for crops and practices that are more productive, for new weapons to protect crops from their natural enemies. WSU plant breeders use such tools as atomic radiation to produce new varieties which may double or triple crop yields. The research job is unending, for there are forces of nature which wage an incessant counter-war against the farmer and research man. Each year, new insect pests appear which are able to survive the old insecticides. Each year, new plant and animal diseases develop, even before the old ones are completely conquered. The WSU researchers maintain a constantly increased program of activity to keep Washington agriculture on the winning side of the conflict. Of matching importance to Washington's economy is WSU's Division of Industrial Research. Here, scientists and research technicians work in a score of fields to develop new uses for the state's raw materials, to help Washington industries solve technical problems, to open up new fields of industrial activity. Sometimes it involves designing new industrial machines, like this particle board forming machine in WSU's famed Wood Technology Laboratories. Design engineers from all over the world turn to WSU's Albrook Hydraulics Lab for scale model studies of major hydroelectric projects. In this way, the problems of spillways and pressure patterns and cofferdams can be worked out in miniature before construction begins on multi-million-dollar structures. Many of these WSU research projects are financed by Washington industry, the federal government, and various foundations. Other work, like that of the Highway Research Section, is conducted for agencies of the state government. Much of the state university's research in pure science, nuclear physics, biochemistry, and the like is supported by such agencies as the Atomic Energy Commission. This includes much of the research at WSU's nuclear reactor. A large atomic furnace of the swimming pool type, designed both for research and for teaching young atomic scientists. Research in many fields involves use of the WSU Computing Center and its large-scale electronic computing system. Use of this electronic brain is booked many months in advance. Washington businessmen receive up-to-date information on the economy of the Pacific Northwest from the continuing studies by WSU's Bureau of Economic and Business Research. Homemakers and food processors profit from ideas developed in the College of Home Economics. The public schools from WSU Educational Research. In fact, there is hardly a phase of activity in the state that does not call on the services of WSU research workers. And research ties in closely with the third major function of Washington State University. That is extension, bringing the output of the campus directly to whoever can make profitable use of it. The extension operation, most people know, is service. Throughout the state, it makes the state university as close as the nearest county courthouse. But the county agent, a member of WSU's faculty, seldom waits for people to come to the office. He carries the state university directly to where the information is needed and sees that it gets into the right hands. And there are thousands of Washingtonians who enroll in regular WSU classes without ever seeing the campus. These students, of all ages, attend classes in their home communities, organized through still another WSU agency, the General Extension Service. Or they study by mail through a WSU correspondence course. In all of its functions, WSU operates on a truly statewide basis. WSU students come from every county, every city, and community in the state. And in every county, other students are enrolled through WSU extension or correspondence courses. WSU experimentations maintain permanent research installations in every major agricultural area and operate experimental research projects in every county. WSU industrial research projects assist industry throughout Washington, and WSU's Technical Extension Service keeps industry supplied with new information. From 1 to 9 extension agents are at work in every county. And throughout the state, WSU is providing information and education through daily and weekly newspapers, radio, and TV. This, then, is your state university and the role that it plays in your state. Education for the youth of Washington, for its builders and leaders of tomorrow. Research to ensure that tomorrow will be brighter and more productive. Extension to bring the boundaries of the campus to the door of every citizen. A great educator once said, "A university must have its feet embedded in the past, its grasp firmly on the present, but its heart and eyes focused on the future." For the function of the university is to mold the future from the best of what has gone before, the best of what is now here, and the best of the dream of what can lie ahead. This is Washington State University.
It's a song called Memory Day, when the sad hours come to you.